Hello, brothers and sisters. Welcome to week 6. During week 6, we'll cover selection, or in short, if statements. This is maybe the most important lesson that we will learn in this class, and also the most transferable to other languages. Boolean logic, or using if statements, is a highly transferable topic to many other languages. Okay, so let's dive right in. Hopefully by now you've done the reading and watched the videos. So we are going to do this example program. Okay, this is from the chapter 6 reading on selection. And we are prompted here to build a program to ask a student for their name and their number of completed university credits. Then we're going to output the student's name and say whether they're a freshman, sophomore, junior, or senior. Okay, and you can see the criteria here. If they're between 0 and 30, they are a freshman. If they're between 30 and 60, they're a sophomore, 60 and 90, a junior, and above 90, they are a senior. Okay, so let's go. Today we're going to be using Visual Studio Code. Okay, so I've got my template HTML document here, and I'll go ahead and start building. All right, so very first we need to ask for two things. We need to ask for the student's name and the number of credits that they have completed. So let's build that. Okay, hopefully that's all review. Now let's ask for their credits. I love Visual Studio Code. I just found this HTML preview tool tonight so you can see the form appearing as I'm typing. Lovely. Okay. Spell school correctly. So we've got our HTML form pretty much how we want it. We've got a button calling a function, and now we need to go get our inputs. So we forgot to rename our input box there, so we'll go ahead and do that. All right, now here's where we need to add the new material, okay? We need to say if it's between 0 and 30, then freshman. If it's between 30 and 60, then sophomore. It's between 60 and 90, then senior. Nope, junior. And if it's greater than 90, senior. Okay, so let's write some if statements to accomplish this. Very first, I want to ask a question. If, open close parentheses, very important, credits is greater than 0 and credits is less than 30, then their year, let's create a variable to hold the year, make it a string, okay. We've got one small issue here, but I'm going to complete the program So here I'll adjust and I'll say if they're between 30 and 60, then they're a sophomore. Same deal here, if they're between 60 and 90, then they're going to be a junior. And finally, if they are greater than 90, then they will be a senior. Okay, I said we have a small issue here, so let's go exploring. Oh wait, we have to do our output. So let's go ahead and do a document .getElement.id, and we want to look for the output div. Then we want to set its inner HTML to name. String concatenation is a okay. That should be everything we need. Ben Davidson is a junior. Okay, that's exactly what I would expect. 65 is between 60 and 90, so we hit this if statement. Notice we didn't hit any of these if statements or these if statements, because when we come here and we say, is 60 greater than 0? It is, but then we ask, and is 60 less than 30? It isn't. So because both sides of this and operator were not true, we do not do this logic. Same deal here. 65 is not greater than 30 and less than 60. Okay, and it is here, but it is not greater than 90. So we only executed this line. Okay, very good. So now let's come here and I will show you the issue that we are going to have. If I come in here and I press 60, Ben Davidson is unknown. Okay, and the issue is this. We said, well, let's run through. So 60 is greater than 0, but 60 is not less than 30. Okay, 60 is greater than 30, but 60 is not less than 60. So we've got a small issue here, okay? Because 60 is also not greater than 60. When someone is exactly at 30, 60, or 90 credits, they're not going to fall into any of these buckets. So we need to refine the rules here and say, well, if they're exactly 30, then they've just become a sophomore. If they're exactly 30, they've just become a junior. If they're exactly 90, then they've just become a senior. So one way to do that would be to change the operators here. So if they are 0 through anything less than 30, so basically 1 through 29, then they're a freshman. If they are 30, because we did greater than or equal to 30, or less than 60, then they're a sophomore. If they're exactly 60, they will be a junior. And if they're exactly 90, then they will be a senior. So let's come here. Let's try the case that was failing. I'm expecting that Ben Davidson is a junior, and Ben Davidson is a junior. Okay, let's come here. 90, senior. Maybe we do something goofy and say negative 120. That doesn't make any sense. We could probably write some code to tell the user that they are silly. Okay, this can definitely be accomplished with just a bunch of unrelated if statements. Another way we can accomplish this would be with else if statements. Okay, if the conditions were right, we may end up doing all of these conditions, right? But when we make it an else if, we are chaining the if statements together. We're saying these if statements act as a group, and one and only one of the statements will be executed, okay? And because we've grouped them together like this, we can then do a little reducing of logic, right? So we can say, now, if they are less than 30 credits, they're a freshman. Or if they're more than 30 credits, we're going to go to the next case. So we no longer have to ask if they are greater than or equal to 30 credits, because we just need to know if they are not a freshman, but are they, so this is basically saying, are they not a freshman, because it's an else if tied to this if statement. So in order to reach this block, this has to be false. Then we come here and ask, is this true? And if it is, we'll jump into this block. Same deal here. We don't need to ask if they're 60 or less, because if we're here, we know they're less than 30 and less than 60. Okay. Finally, we can just make this an else. Okay, because if they're less than 30, that now includes negative numbers or 0, then they'll fall in here. If they're not less than 30, but they are less than 60, fall in here. If they're not less than 30 and not less than 60, but they are less than 90, they'll fall in here. And if they're not less than 30, 60, or 90, they will fall in here. Okay, let's make sure our logic's sound here. Okay, that checks out. I just became a sophomore. Freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. Okay, very good. Well, that's one way to do, or another way to do this program. Okay. As always, please let me know if you have any questions.